Hi, everybody. It is me, the fabulous Leo Brown, and I thank you guys so much for bearing with me and being patient. I know I haven't been on here in like 3 months, but been going through some things. But I wanted to come on and talk about what's been kind of going on in the news lately and what's been a little bit of a trending topic. Hold on, let me see if I can get my lighting correct. That's another reason why I haven't been on here a lot either. My lighting is so screwed up. Okay, there we go. So I wanted to talk about Robert Sylvester Kelly, also known as R. Kelly, and all the stuff that's going on right with that. I saw some of the interview that he had with Gayle King. Shout out to Gayle King. Gayle Imani King, honey, you did that. You did that. You did that for real. Like you really, really did. Like I think you did an awesome job. My personal favorite was when he was having this breakdown and she was like, Robert. That was that was my personal favorite moment of that. But all in all, I thought the interview was actually quite sad because what I saw was a man in crisis. I saw a man in breakdown. I saw a man that mentally and emotionally is not in a good place. I think he is upset that he got caught. You know what I mean? I really do. I don't think that he is, I don't think he's upset because he didn't do anything or he's innocent. I think he's upset that he got caught. That now the chickens are coming home to roost, basically. And I think he's not happy about that. Also, I do feel that he does have, well, I feel, I shouldn't say that. I do think that he does have a problem. Now, mind you, this is my opinion. We can agree to disagree. That's what the comments are for. But I think that Robert, and I'm going to call him that, I think Robert definitely has some deep issues way before he got into the business. I think the entertainment business just highlights it's kind of like somebody going on a reality show and they go, oh, the reality show broke up my marriage. No, your marriage was already broken. All the show did was just highlight the things that were already there. It just magnified it. And I think with uh, Robert, it's the same thing. It's just that it's highlighting all the issues he's had. All his demons are coming through, basically. And I feel that whoever was his publicist or like his whoever his handlers are, you obviously want to see him fall because I would have never done an interview. Like had it been me, I would have never done it because that interview was so all over the place. And I agree with Gayle when she was like, I think you're playing the victim role, and he was because and if you notice in the interview, at least the the snippets that we saw, because they said that she actually interviewed him for 80 minutes. So I'm pretty sure I know it's a lot longer, and they're supposed to actually add the full thing pretty soon. But uh, she said in the course of the interview, like, you're playing the victim role, and he was. He was playing like, oh, they're trying to come after me, and I've given 30 years of my musical career. This ain't about your music. This is about you abusing women. This is about you abusing black women. And you deflected. You deflected the entire time. You talked about, oh, well, it's women getting raped and this. Well, exactly. So why won't you admit, and even if you didn't do it, well, who did do it? You know what I mean? Why is this all coming out? And why are there 50 plus women all admitting, not only that, but, the 50 plus victims, plus your tour manager, plus your brothers. You got all these people talking about it. I've known about R. Kelly since I was in middle school. So none of this is news to me. It's just sad that it took so long. And I guess for me, it makes me view like how we view women in this country, and not only women, but black women. Or I shouldn't even say black women, women of color, because this could be Vincent. Oh my goodness, I'm saying the name all wrong. Uh, uh, Vicente Fernandez. This could be him doing this. You know what I mean? This could be him doing this, and it could affect the Latino culture. It could be who's big in Asian culture. It could be someone who's big in Asian culture doing this kind of stuff. It's like it happens. It's not. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, what I've noticed is that there is a bias when it comes to race, when it comes to crime. There's definitely a racial bias. There's a color bias. Because had this had been, you know, dare I say, white women or white men, um, it probably would have been different, and I can kind of understand why some, because then that kind of ushers into, well, what about Weinstein and this and that. Weinstein got it bad too, because Weinstein, if you don't remember, Weinstein was the one where they had to put him on suicide watch when all this first went down. So it wasn't just, I think people often think, oh, they're going after R. Kelly. Now, first it was Bill Cosby, now it was R. Kelly. First of all, this has been going on since '92. But earlier than that, I know people from Chicago that, while they didn't know R. Kelly personally, they knew and heard stories about him going to the McDonald's, going to high schools. He was a legend in Chicago, known for doing that, so this is not new. And then with Bill Cosby, because I'm kind of going on a tangent, bear with me. But then with Bill Cosby had been talking about, drugging women since the 1960s. I mean, if you go back and you listen to his comedy albums, he talks about it, how he puts it in there. If you go back and you watch, and I don't know if it's on YouTube, but there's a clip of him on Larry King Live, and he's talking about it. Now, mind you, he's doing it in a humorous way, but he's talking about it. So none of this is new. This is not a conspiracy to take the black man down. And let me just say this. I feel like when it comes to this is the one of the many things about my community that I do not like. And that is this, is that when someone who is of stature, who has some bit of power or wealth, goes under fire or under scrutiny, the first thing we do, oh, they trying to keep the black person down. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Now, in some instances, that actually is true. Now, I'm not going to sit here and play okie doke and act like that's not true sometimes. Sometimes it is. But in this instance, no. This man has been doing this for 20 plus years. We have been aiding and abetting his stuff by buying his records, listening to his music, going to his concerts. And here's my other thing, too. This is one thing that I don't feel bad about. And that is, I think her name is Jocelyn. Jocelyn and the two girls, because they did an interview with them today, and I forgot the other girl's name. Her name escapes me so much, and I'm so sorry. But Jocelyn and I can't remember the other person's name. I'm so sorry. And they had an interview with, I believe it was with Gayle actually, and Jocelyn not so much, but the other chick, I have never in my life wanted to go through a screen and beat somebody's ass. And I mean, like, go outside and get me a switch. And I'm not into that kind of stuff. Like, I'm not into things that are passed down from Slave Master. But I wanted to, just so offensive, or so not offensive, defensive, so on 10, so mean. And I'm like, wait a minute, girl, like, for real? What are we doing? What are we doing? Obviously, there's some mental and emotional abuse going on here. And I really do feel, I would say, give it about a good 2 to 5 years at most. Well, at least 2 to 5 years, maybe more. And I cannot wait for them to come out and be like, yeah, we went on an interview and we were coached and this is what we were told to say and blah, blah, blah. I've seen what abuse can do. Abuse is more than just physical abuse. It's mental, it's emotional, it's spiritual. And when I look at those girls, and I'm calling them that because they really were like girls, I can see the scars. especially in the young. Lord, I wish I knew her name. Especially in the one that was really, mouthing on her. You could tell there's something going on, and a lot of people want to compare this to Hugh Hefner. They're like, well, what about Hugh Hefner? First of all, Hugh Hefner ain't getting 16-year-old girls, and also those girls went to Hef willingly. He didn't force them, at least from my knowledge. And I've read Down the Rabbit Hole. I read her book, Holly Madison. I read her book, and she wanted to be in Hugh Hefner's camp. So it's not like he forced her into it. So no, we're not going to go into that. But to the parents who, knowingly knew what was going on, because I watched the documentary too, Surviving R. Kelly. I watched the whole thing, and well, not the whole thing. I watched it up until, like, I think right to the point to where they got to the part where the parents were like, well, we took our daughter to the concert because, she wanted a singing career and blah, 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 blah. You sold your children. And I'm not gonna be real. I hope that the guilt you are experiencing eats you alive, because in your heart you sold your kids. You sold your kids out for money, so you could live well. This wasn't about them and their singing career. If they really wanted to sing, then you would have been their manager. You would have found ways to go through proper channels in the industry. It's not hard, especially now. You don't have to, and now you don't need a recording contract to make it big now. I mean, can we say Justin Bieber? You don't really need a recording contract. You can start on YouTube and get your music out there. It's not hard. It's not hard to get an iTunes account. I know many people that don't have record labels. They might have a distribution deal, but they don't have a record label behind them. Now, mind you, it's not bad to have a machine, but you don't necessarily need someone like R. Kelly. And the fact that you were like, well, we'd heard about it, but we didn't really believe it. So you sold your children. Now, this is one thing that he did say in the interview, despite him breaking down, crying, and doing all those theatrics, which you could so miss me with. But that was one thing that he did say that I actually do agree with, is that if you're going to blame him, you need to blame the parents too. If you're going to blame him, you need to blame parents. You need to blame the tour managers. You need to blame everybody that was in his camp. Everybody deserves some punishment, because everybody aided in that. Everybody aided and abetted in the exploitation of young Black women. So yeah, but I personally, I think this is a shitstorm. I think it's going to get worse. I may do a psychic perspective on it. We'll see. I just wanted to share my thoughts about it. So now that I'm done sharing my thoughts, I want to know what you think. So leave your comments below about this whole thing. I do read them. And I thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, I am the fabulous Leo Brown. Thank you so much for watching, for commenting, for subscribing, for liking, for disliking, for sharing, all of that. It means a lot. So until next time, I will see you soon. Bye-bye.